Welcome to the Explainer. You know what? We're actually going to completely skip the usual introductions today because, well, we've got a fascinating geographical mystery to solve, and I just can't wait to get into it. When you look at a map of the United States, 50 distinct individual identities stare back at you, right? But today, we're tackling the mystery of the twin states. We're going to look at the data, eliminate the prime suspects, and figure out exactly what makes two places practically indistinguishable from one another. It's like a giant puzzle of geography, economy, and culture all rolled into one. So, which two U.S. states are basically twins? I want you to put on your detective hat for a moment here. Out of all 50 states, stretching from coast to coast, which two are so remarkably similar that people constantly mix them up? Go ahead and lock in your first guess right now in your head. Got it? Think about the regions, the borders, maybe the general vibes. We're going to investigate a few pairs that seem like absolute identical twins on the surface. But, as you're going to see, the truth is always hidden in the details. Okay, let's dive into this. If you're like most people, your brain probably jumped immediately to our very first suspect pair, the Dakotas, North and South Dakota. It is by far the most common first guess people make when they're faced with this riddle, and honestly, it's an incredibly logical place to start our investigation. I mean, when you hear one mentioned, you almost automatically think of the other. It kind of feels like a package deal right smack in the middle of the country. It's incredibly easy to see why we all assume it's the Dakotas. First off, they literally share the exact same name. They also share this massive, perfectly straight border running right between them. And if you just glance at them on a map, they're almost the exact same rectangular shape. You could practically fold the map in half and they would overlap perfectly. So, on paper, they look like textbook identical twins. But remember, we are looking for states that are truly identical in how they operate, not just how they look from up in a satellite. The absolutely crucial point is what happens when we peel back that geographical layer. Because under the hood, North and South Dakota are completely different. Think about it. North Dakota experienced a massive oil boom that just completely transformed their financial landscape. It brought in huge new industries and made the state incredibly wealthy. Meanwhile, South Dakota, they run on a completely different engine. They rely really heavily on tourism. Think of places like Mount Rushmore and the Badlands, alongside massive agricultural operations. So despite the shared name and that perfectly straight border, their daily realities just totally disqualify them. The Dakotas, they are officially out. Now, since the Dakotas didn't pan out, a lot of people pivot their guess slightly south to another pair of neighbors right there in the heartland. Suspect pair number 2, Kansas and Nebraska. Honestly, this is a fantastic secondary guess. We're staying right in the middle of the country, looking at two states that sit side by side and definitely seem to share a very similar Midwest DNA. It's super easy to see the common ground here, right? Both Kansas and Nebraska are massive, massive farming states. If you've ever driven through them, you see these just endless fields, a really similar topography, and a shared rhythm of life that's totally dictated by the planting and harvest seasons. Because of that heavy agricultural focus and their location, they are constantly grouped together in our minds. It's a really solid guess. But according to the data, they aren't the closest match either. We need a pair that matches on almost every single metric. So they're close, for sure, but they aren't true twins. Now, what's really interesting about this next set of clues is that we are finally laying out the ultimate profile for our true mystery states. We've eliminated the Dakotas because of their contrasting economies. We've bypassed Kansas and Nebraska. Now we need to look at the hard facts of what makes our actual twin states so completely indistinguishable. We're looking for a lock and key fit here. Two states that mirror each other so perfectly that if you were dropped into one blindfolded, you genuinely might not know which side of the state line you are on. Let's look at the final profile. Okay, here is the definitive checklist for our true twin states. First, they have nearly identical climates. We're talking about experiencing the exact same weather patterns year-round. Second, matching cultures and lifestyles. Third, shared economies. Unlike the Dakotas, these two states make their money in the exact same ways. And the final, biggest clue of all, they both heavily feature the famous Midwest accent. Just imagine two states where the winters feel exactly the same, the industries run parallel, the local traditions mirror each other perfectly, and the people sound identical when they speak. Their weather, their daily lives, their wallets, and even how they communicate are fundamentally intertwined. So, bringing it all together, what is your guess? We know they have that classic Midwest accent, which narrows down the region perfectly. We know they aren't the Dakotas, and they definitely aren't Kansas and Nebraska. They have identical weather, identical cultures, and matching economies. You've got all the clues you need right in front of you. Think about the rest of the Midwest. Which two neighboring states blur the lines so completely that they fit this perfect twin profile? Take those facts, use the process of elimination, and let's see if you can crack the mystery of the ultimate twin states. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, good luck solving the riddle.